willing to do what it takes to get there. He's signed to One Warrior.
Yeah, I was gonna say that he signed to One Warrior. I think he did an episode.
Amo DL, those guys, I would love to.
I think any fighter has a chance.
Hi there, and welcome to the MMA Talk Show. I'm Rashid Saleh, the president of Malaysia MMA MASMMAA, and alongside me, as usual, is Daniel from Southport, as well as MASMMAA. Now it's 9 p.m. in Malaysia, 2 p.m. in the UK, 3 p.m. in France, although we hope to see our French guest eventually turn up, which we hope he will. We've got a very, very interesting show tonight on our streaming platform, because it's all about the international stars of MMA, actually the future international stars of MMA, and we hope that by the end of the show you'll be not only following them but hearing their stories as well, because it's been quite an intriguing journey for all of them, from the start of their amateur MMA to what is now some of them who have already started their professional, and some on the verge of making their debuts as well. So let's get them on, because it's going to be really, really interesting. First, I suppose we'll start with the youngest one here, and that's not you, Daniel. So
not for today.
He was born in Dagestan. But he has been representing England and Great Britain. He's unbeaten. So we'll talk about that. But let's welcome him onto the show. He says he's in Wimbledon, but he can't remember. But we're quite sure that he's in London. So let's welcome him onto the show, Mohamed Mokaev. How are you, Mohamed?
Hiya, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good, thank you. I'm at training camp at the moment, preparing for my professional debut.
Okay, great to have you on board onto MASMMAA as well. Right, next up, he is also going to be making his debut. He was supposed to be fighting, I think last month or a couple of months ago. He has a four fight contract with Bellator, and he's fighting all the way from our Republic of Ireland. Let's welcome him on. Ryan Spillane, heavyweight, IMMAF recent Oceania gold medal, as well as Mohamed Mokaev as well, who made your senior debut for IMMAF as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, right. And not last but not least, we're still waiting for another person, but she has been approached. She was also part of the IMMAF family, and she has had a very intriguing journey as well. Let's welcome her onto our MASMMAA live, LEAH MCCOURT. How are you, LEAH? Can you hear me, LEAH? Let's see whether she can hear me or not. Hi.
Hi. Good,
okay, great. All right. Can you hear me, Dan?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I could hear you.
Okay, perfect. All right, excellent. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave you guys alone for the first half hour. I'm going to get Dan to grill you first, and then I'll come in with the interesting questions later. See you guys in a bit.
Okay. Bye.
Well, grilling is a particular word, but more to warming you guys up. But today's show we have future superstars and current superstar in Bellator, which is LEAH. Thank you for joining us. We want to get to know you guys a little bit more, because here this show is mainly watched by Malaysians. We like to see what is it like for you guys to grow up in this sport. Now, I'm going to start off with the most simplest of questions with, how did you get involved in MMA? Now, Ryan, is it okay if you tell us a little bit of your experience and how did you got yourself involved in mixed martial arts?
Yeah, so mine's actually a funny enough one. I was at a kind of high enough level at rugby, and rugby kind of stops around the summer area, so kind of like May to kind of August, rugby is just on an off season, and I was looking for something kind of fun to do, and I knew a friend that was down here. We weren't called SBG at that stage, we were called K2C. And I came down here primarily just for fitness. And the first class we were doing, it was double leg. So like coming from rugby background, that was like my bread and butter. And I remember I took my coach and I put him right, so Liam, I took him took him up, put him right down, and I actually cut his whole forehead. So he had a big, huge cut along here. So I cut him on the first day, and I had to stay at it after that. And then after kind of just involving myself more and more, and I just became in love with it, and I ended up giving up rugby and taking this on full time. And I've been in love with the sport ever since.
Wait. How did you cut him again? Through a takedown or?
Yeah, so I picked him up, double legged him, but I did a huge double leg. I was huge back then. I was 160 kilos. I was all pure fat. Lifted him up, and I dropped him, and I put him under a rolling shutter, and it was a corner of it that was just a piece of steel. And he just cut his head on it, and he was a big enough cut, but I had to kind of stay after that then,
God, wow, okay. And because you saw the blood, and you just all right, MMA's for you now.
Yeah, it was he was like, you caught me on the first day, you kind of have to stay now and see if you're any good at the sport.
All right, fair enough. Following with that, speaking about how you started, you started with rugby. Now, Mukaev, I saw on one of IMMAF posts that said that you started off cleaning mats. And then now you're a 3-time world champion in IMMAF. Tell us that journey. How did it start out like that, Mukaev?
I started with wrestling, and then I want to more challenge. So I started competing in jiu-jitsu, and I want to try myself in MMA. So I moved to MMA in 2015, 16. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I started with wrestling, yeah.
But the whole because I saw that specific post that said you were cleaning mats for free membership.
Yeah.
How did that come about? were you into MMA before that, or were you into combat sports before that?
No, I was just wrestling, just wrestling, and then just do extra sessions, and want to do I couldn't pay for membership for back in the days, and then and so I have to do something, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So you pretty much just clean the gym just so that you could stay on training every day. Okay, fair enough. Leah, what about you? How did you get yourself involved in mixed martial arts? Did you do any martial arts before that?
Yeah, so I did judo from when I was a child. My dad made me. He had 3 daughters, and he wanted us to learn how to defend ourselves. So he made us do judo since we were kids, and I competed on the Northern Ireland national team, and I'm a black belt in judo. So after I had my daughter Isabella, I wanted to learn how to strike. I loved boxing. I loved watching MMA. I used to watch Bruce Lee movies. I just love martial arts. I love all the martial arts. And when I started training in an MMA gym, I was doing Muay Thai, and when I seen that there was females starting to fight in MMA, it just really intrigued me, and I just started from there.
Okay. And so at what age did you really start MMA, Leah?
It was about 7 years ago, so I think I was maybe 19 or 20.
Okay, fair enough. Speaking about what Leah just mentioned about judo, Mukaev, you talked about wrestling. Were you wrestling your entire life, as a kid?
No, since 13. I did little bit. I tried in Dagestan, but it wasn't for purpose to going somewhere to compete, or just for myself, a couple of sessions like this. But most I started in UK 12, 13.
Okay, when did you realize that you were good at this?
I think 14, after winning British championships, English championships. Then I started competing in seniors at age of 16, and then I understood I need to grind more. It's everything possible.
Okay. Well, and then since then, when exactly was the pinpoint of when you found IMMAF?
2016 was Birmingham, isn't it?
Yeah.
Birmingham, I think European Championships or World Championships.
Who got you involved?
No, I watched Birmingham. In Birmingham, they had IMMAF, so I was watching, and I want to compete in that because it was hard to get matches, in UK. So I wanted something like tournaments. Nobody pulls out. You get ready and you fight. But I was too young for it. Now they have a cadets, for IMMAF, which is a great opportunity for younger generations, but that time nobody. So I was watching. I watch like Conor Hitchens from UK team, like Shoaib Yusuf, and these guys competing, like, and I was following, watching this tournament.
Ah, I see. Because then 4 years ago, then
Yes.
you were 16. Yeah, you couldn't compete yet. Then
Yeah.
you came in like 2 years later.
Yeah.
God damn. No, well, Ryan, how about you? How did you got yourself to find IMMAF?
My first IMMAF tournament was Birmingham, so I think LEAH fought in that one as well. That was 2015. It was the Europeans. I think it was just down to the fact that when I started, I was 16 and I was like 140 kilos. There was no one my age kind of doing MMA. Remember, we had this thing called the MMA League, which is like no headshots, and you just show up on the day and get matched. And I was never getting any fights, and it was the whole thing that I would go over there and I would have a guaranteed fight because there was always someone registered. You would know going over there that there was going to be a fight, you know, whether it was either 1 or 2. And I think it was just, I think my coach found it, my coach Liam found it, and we headed over there with, it was a huge group back then. I think Team Ireland back then was Richie Smullen, Kiefer Crosby, it was just like all the kind of big guys now were fighting then. That was the first IMMAF tournament, and I fought 6 more after that, I think, 5 more. 5 or 6 more IMMAF tournaments after that, and it was just down to the fact that I could never get a fight on the local scene here because there was never any heavyweights, or I'd get a fight, I'd pull out what happened, but going to IMMAF tournaments, it was always guaranteed that you'd have a fight going over there. You'd know how many fights you're going to have, and it was always helpful going over there.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, thank goodness, you know, IMMAF is around. It can really grant you guys so many fights throughout the years. Was this Leah? Were you? Ryan mentioned that you were with him during the 2016. Is that? Do you remember much of what you did back then?
Yeah. It's the same kind of thing. You know, there's a lot of people. It's hard to get fights, especially as a female and at my weight class. And I'd seen there was girls registered, and I just wanted to get as many fights and as much experience as I could, and registered for the European IMMAFs in Birmingham. I think it was the first ever European Championships, and I just had the best experience, you know, going over and you were confirmed that you were going to have a fight, more than one fight, and you know, it was great. The whole like Ireland and Ulster team, we were all together, and it was such a good experience. I loved it.
Now, speaking about experience, Leah, you fought now in professional in Bellator and previously in IMMAF. What is the biggest difference about fighting in IMMAF and now fighting professionally?
To be honest, to me, the fight's a fight. That's the most important thing. Whether you're fighting in front of nobody or 10,000 people, my head's always on the person in front of me and what I need to do and the job I need to do. You know, the main difference is probably the fight week, the build up, a lot more media. You can overthink it and you can overthink the occasion and the night, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing you do every day. It's the same techniques. You know, obviously in professional, you can add in elbows and you can add in and the rounds are longer, which I like. But you know, there's not a massive difference. It is just a different platform, and it's to me it wasn't that much different.
Okay, fair enough. But you know, what about you guys, Mukaev? What about you? Like, does the fact that like fighting, like, you know, when you enter an IMMAF tournament, it's different when you enter like a fight night, right? It's much different because when you enter a fight night, it's just one night. But this one, you're fighting day after day. How did that make you feel?
I think if you compete like in amateur boxing, or you compete like in jiu-jitsu, or you compete in wrestling, you are ready for this IMMAF tournaments because you're ready for this for saving energy, for looking after yourself, like not get injured, like sleep good and prepare for mentally for next day opponent. There's lots of MMA guys, you know, going on IMMAF, you know, first day they turn up like wild, you know, they win, but next day they can't even like get up. So I think tournaments like of wrestling, jiu-jitsu, even boxing, you know, they get you ready for these tournaments, I believe. And after IMMAF, when you turn up to fight nights, it's like it's easy. It's like you just have a one fight, you have 6 weeks camp, 8 weeks camp. You give yourself everything out. You don't care about what happened after. you have a rest, you have recovery for weight cut. So mentally, it's like it's another level energy like you get on fight night. And also, if you know these guys didn't compete IMMAF, that's like, if you know these guys never competed IMMAF, you know these guys like not that level.
Whoa. Okay. Damn. I mean, that really shows, you know, the level of like what IMMAF has and what they can do for you. Leah, do you agree with what Mokaev said?
Yeah, I agree totally. I find the IMMAF tournaments and those events are so much harder than having one fight on one night, because you have to get up and make weight every day. You have to save your energy. You have to not get injured. You have to travel, try and find food. IMMAF tournaments, I think, are the hardest tournaments in the world, and all amateurs should be doing as many as they can of the IMMAF tournaments for experience. And you know, it's just even for their craft, you know, going in and trying to get finishes rather than keep the fights going. I remember when I was fighting in the World Championships in Las Vegas, I had knee surgery 12 weeks before the World Championships, and in my head I was like, right, I have to get I knew I wouldn't be able to last 3 rounds of a tough fight, so I was like, right, in my head I was like, right, I have to finish this. And luckily I got 3 first round finishes, because I don't know if my knee would have held out for that. But you definitely get a lot of valuable experience in the tournaments.
My goodness. Because of a knee surgery, you can't just tell yourself, all right, I'm going to get in there, I'm going to knock them out first round under 3 minutes. That's quite impressive.
But it's problem if you have like decision, you know. If you have decision every fight, it's big problem. It's hard. Your body like aching in the morning. You have to make weight again. You have to keep weight down. You can't recover. And 2 fights as well, like decisions.
So Mokaev, are you also saying that, you know, it's best to, like, you know, for IMMAF to just finish it first round? Or
no,
like, you know,
no. If you don't finish, then it's big problem too. So it's like, last my IMMAF tournament was all 4 fights. Not last World Championships. I mean, 4 fights, 4 decisions. 4 decisions. It's like, it's very tough. It's very tough. You make weight, you pass medical. You know, if you get knocked down or something, you can't compete next day. So you have to look after this, and you have like a final day, and in the brackets people gets tougher and tougher. You know what I mean? Like, it's of course they're also getting tired, but it's tough people going to the final. So you have to save up energy.
Yeah. I remember watching you actually last year at the World Championships, and you pretty much, like, you know, you had to grind out one fight after the next. Even including the final fight went 3 rounds. I was really surprised to see you, like, you know, fresh all 3 rounds against Ryo Yamaguchi.
Yes, you know what's interesting? Before my fight against Ryo Yamaguchi, they're supposed to guy from Bahrain supposed to fight him. He pulled out, so Ryo had a rest. So the other guy couldn't make weight. So he was a fresher guy. So he didn't fight in semi-final. Was sitting, eating, you know. And I'm there with Kazakhstani guy, like, going full power, you know.
Yeah. I remember watching that fight of you and the guy from Kazakhstan. That was a hell of a fight.
Yes.
Damn. But okay. So speaking about from what Leah and Mokaev just said, Ryan, especially what Mokaev said was really something that I remember. I'm gonna remember. Do you think now is gonna be a confidence booster that if you know your opponent and it's not from IMMAF? You know, once you start fighting in Bellator, you know your opponent not fighting for IMMAF. Is that going to be like a confidence boost for you?
It wouldn't really matter. Obviously, if I know if they've been through the IMMAF circuit, then I know they've been tested. You know, like, like what the lad's saying. Like, if you're going through the IMMAF circuit, you're fighting yourself against the best. You know, these are the best people from the best countries, and you're fighting day in, day out. So it wouldn't really be a confidence boost, but if I knew they went through the IMMAF circuit, then I would kind of know they have a better heart and they've been through the toughest fights, you know.
I want to ask you, Ryan, through your opinion, do you think that, you know, IMMAF talents right now, IMMAF harnesses talents that's, you know, potentially like better than most pro promotions?
Oh, absolutely. I actually remember it was after the last World. There was, I forget who tweeted it or put it, whatever, but they were saying like the top 10 guys at a professional level in Ireland and England wouldn't come near the top 10 guys that were being top of like IMMAF level, you know, like, cause you can fight a guy. You can fight a guy there. I remember, for example, the previous world champion before me, Ermin Magic, Swedish dude. Like he had 20, 30 odd fights. Like you could fight a pro there, especially for heavyweight, who'd have like maybe 4 or 5 amateur fights and then 2 pro fights. You know, like myself, like I have 20 amateur fights. Like there's not many heavyweights who have an amateur record that big, or even any other weight class. You know, it's very, very hard for people to have a big, huge amateur record and then go into pro. Like kind of the way the boxing, like you could have 100 boxing fights and then go pro. You rarely see a boxer have 2 amateur fights and then turn pro. Like I think the fact that like people are so anxious about turning pro like straight away, like have 3 or 4 wins, 3 or 4 knockouts first round and then turn pro. That's not the way you do it. You have to be tested. You have to experience kind of everything at the amateur level, and then when you become pro, then nothing scares you and nothing kind of throws a curveball at you, really.
It's like going to Olympic Games without qualifications. Yes.
Yeah. That's
I can't hear Muhammad at all.
Mukayev said it's like going to the Olympics without any qualification.
That's a very good thing to say. I had to come on to hear that.
Yeah. God,
Ryan,
yeah,
can you hear what he's saying? Right? Can you hear me, Ryan?
Muhammad at all.
No, Ryan, could you hear
Yeah, I
Rashid?
can hear you, yeah.
Okay.
No.
Well,
can you hear me? Hang on.
Wait, can everybody hear Rashid?
Yeah, I can hear you,
everybody
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason I'm coming on is I'm quite intrigued. Leah, what was the decision to jump from amateur to pro MMA? Was it financial? Oh, is there a police nearby catching someone? No.
London, it's normal, you know.
Okay, because you got Northern Ireland, you got Cork, and you've got you got London, so you got to figure out which one's which. Okay, so Leah, what was the actual decision for you? What made you want to go? Okay, I'm ready to jump into pro. Was it a financial decision, or was it something that you thought in your head? Okay, this is something I've always wanted, because that it's a massive jump.
I had won the European Championships and then won the World Championships and thought, I don't really want to go back and do them again. I want to kind of keep moving forward. And at the time, it was Cage Warriors and BAMMA were both contacting me to sign with them, and I just felt like it was the right decision. Looking back, I don't know. I love the IMMAF tournaments, but I just think it was the right move for me to make to go professional.
Right. Okay. I mean, it was a different time then, because as you see now, you followed how IMMAF has grown and improved over the years. Do you feel that you regret you could have stayed a bit longer and seen? And this is what I'm asking, because there are a lot more quality female fighters in the amateur scene now, and you could have tested yourself a bit more. That's why I'm asking whether there was any regret in doing that.
I think I didn't know. Yeah, IMMAF was quite new, and I wasn't sure when the next tournament would be or when the next event would be. And I don't really have much patience to wait about and find out things. So whenever I was being contacted by the professional promotions, I kind of just jumped into it. But looking back, I don't know. I don't regret any decisions I made, but I could have done either. I could have went professional or stayed at IMMAFs and probably would have got as good experience doing either.
Right. All right. Okay. I mean, this is a question I probably need to. I mean, KHK MMA is, pretty much taking care of you. What were the benefits? And it was easy for you to make that decision, I think. But you had said, I mean, you wanted to stay amateur as long as you could, but obviously the pandemic happened, and then you made that decision. Was that the decision you made to turn into pro, or was KHK? I don't think there was any pressure from KHK. What were your thoughts about that?
There was no pressure, I told the Prince of Bahrain, Sheikh Khalid, I told him I'm gonna do 1 more year amateur. So that was the plan with my team, and so I did seniors. This year I was gonna do all tournaments as seniors, and then our first tournament I've done first tournament I've done in it's Dean Garnett. It's my coach.
Hello.
Yes. So first tournament I've done in Australia, seniors, I won. I beat guy who's actually like a bronze medalist in senior rankings in European Championships. So that's my goal, to win senior world championships. But I cannot stay and wait for because of the pandemic. But I would myself, if I didn't have like a big professional career to go, I want a set up goal, make like be a youngest champion, whatever organization I'm gonna be in professional. So if I didn't have that goal, I would stay like till probably Olympics. I believe 2028 IMMAF get into Olympics, so I would probably stay because I'm getting like paid more than professional fighters. So if I would care about money, I would probably like stay amateur, carry on, winning medals, but I have to make history.
That's right. I mean, we're still. I mean, the Olympic dream is still there. Now, Ryan, you obviously wanted you turned professional, and then you made this statement as soon as you did it. So it was like, the ideal fight for my debut would be 100% have to be James Haskell. I'd love to be the man to welcome him to Bellator, the Bellator roster, and show him that MMA is a completely different sport. Now, was those words put into your mouth? I mean, being a rugby man yourself, you're talking about James Haskell, former England, international, albeit at 35 years old.
Who is this guy?
This is one of the top rugby guys in the world.
Okay.
Yeah, 6'4". He's just joined Bellator. He's got a contract at Bellator as well.
Ryan, you crazy guy.
He's crazy. But anyway, go on then.
I didn't hear a question at all there. Like, it was very fuzzy.
All right. So why did you make that statement?
I'd love to fight him. I think it'd be a great matchup. Also, from the kind of, if you're looking at the business side of things, calling out someone who has a huge social media following, and like he had a press conference when he signed for Bellator. Like, if I could fight him on my first fight, that would be a main card fight. Like, you rarely see a debut guy on the main card. Also, I just love to fight him because I think him jumping into MMA is a crazy thing. Like, I don't think someone like that can jump straight into MMA and expect to fight in a big league like Bellator.
Hey, this Irish guy like business,
And I just want to punch him in the face.
No, what Ryan just told me was very similar to what happened in the UFC when CM Punk came in. Remember that? CM Punk when he fought against Mickey Gall.
It would turn out exactly the same as well, I think. Smash him up for fucking 3 rounds. Sorry,
Leah, what was the difference between especially for a bit of experience for these boys, like being a debut as a pro, and then your last fight you were headlining in Dublin?
Yeah, I know. Crazy year. It was within 1 year I was making my debut in Bellator and then main evented it. It was exactly a year to the day later. It was crazy experience, and it was. As I always say, the fight night's always the same. It's always the actual fight that I focus on. It's my opponent when I walk out. But obviously, it was amazing to make history, to be the first female to headline a major European promotion, and it's quite hard to describe. It felt really surreal when I got that call to be the main event. It still feels surreal that I did that.
Yeah, and thankfully it was a good, and you managed to win as well. So that was that. But
I want to ask Leah about her event. Did it give you any goosebumps at all? To know that you're gonna fight as a main event.
Like totally. It was like a fairy tale. And it was when I got the main event call, I was visualizing my daughter running into the cage after winning, after making history, and the whole way through camp, the whole way through the last couple of weeks of training. That's when it got really, really tough, and I actually broke my orbital bone in my eye. 2 weeks before the fight, I took someone down, and I took them down so hard, we cracked heads, and I cracked my orbital bone, and I had to do loads of media, so I was like wearing a hat, hiding my eye for weeks before the fight. But I just kept imagining Isabella running into the cage, and that kind of got me through the last couple of weeks. But even thinking about it now, I get the goosebumps and looking back at the photos. Like it's once in a lifetime experience. It was amazing.
There we go.
Yeah.
Mokav, it's like we're still waiting for that pro debut. Are you
2
anxious?
weeks.
Are you
2
anxious?
Huh?
Are you really anxious? I mean, are you looking forward? I mean, you've gone through this as an amateur. You've got 23-0. I mean, your amateur record speaks for yourself. But now you're going to step into the pro world. Do you think that's going to be a big step mentally?
Yes, it's a big step, but this is my dream. If I don't fight now, these professional guys, no, this is my dream. This when I started, I have goal, to be like a youngest in every organization, whether I fight, champion. If I stand with organization, I'm coming for the belt. Every organization I've been for amateur, I'm coming for gold medal or the belt or the belt. I'm not there, just to fight someone. But I'm fighting in 2 weeks anyway in Romania, on Brave.
So I want to ask Mokaev on that actually about fighting in Brave. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I may have heard rumors that you were actually approached by the UFC first.
Yes, it's the development team. It's UFC development team. But I think I believe I deserve go straight to UFC without even development team when the time comes.
Okay. So you don't feel like it's the right time for you to step into the UFC yet?
I need experience, professional experience. It's not just like professional guys who trains professionals like IMMAF guys. Most of them are professional, train twice a day and like follow sleeping patterns and follow your food. But professional career is like 5 minutes rounds, elbows, knees, bigger cage. Get ready for this weight cuts, like day before, and then that's like another level,
Fair enough. I can respect your decision to do that.
Yes.
All right, Ryan. Heavyweight pro is a massive step, not only in like the way they fight, but it's just they're monstrous. I mean, you've seen the fights in pro for heavyweights. It's just tough, and they do, contrary to report, they do last quite a number of rounds. I mean, is that something that you thought about before you even thought about getting into Bellator?
No, not really. Like most of my fights have been kind of first round, second round stoppages kind of thing. I think I've one fight that went 3 rounds, and when I went those 3 rounds, I was fully fit for that. I've no problem going 5 3-minute or 3 5-minute rounds with someone. I'm fully conditioned for that. But heavyweights don't really go past the first, second round, and I know myself, I fought the best guys going through the IMMAF circuit. So going into the Bellator ranks, I'm not really scared of many. There's a few freaks up there that kind of would give me a few doubts, but I know myself, I'm prepared to fight anyone, and I'm not afraid of anyone really.
Okay, all right. We were just about to ask LEAH something, but never mind. Very quickly, LEAH, I know you might have to go soon, but this question actually came from Daniel, and that was, would you? Yeah. I mean, it's the Chris Cyborg question that Daniel wanted to ask.
Can I ask it? Can I ask it? LEAH, with you now, like headlining on Bellator, that just means that there's the sky is the limit for you. And one of the limits that I wanted to ask you was that, do you think sometime soon would you go head to head with Chris Cyborg? I don't know if she heard me.
She might have frozen.
LEAH, you there?
Okay, never mind. We'll try and get her back in a bit. But okay. But for the two of you, I mean, quickly going back to the amateur side, Mokaev, in terms of the last. Okay.
Wait,
yes. Hang on.
Kind of disconnected.
Sorry.
Hi. Okay. Go and ask it.
What a convenient time for to disconnect.
When we talk about Chris Cyborg, yeah. Go on, Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear my question earlier, LEAH?
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, I think that fight will be inevitable. I'm obviously, my aim and my goal is to be Bellator World Champion, and I believe I will be. There's a lot of fights that make sense for both of us before that fight happens. I'm at the start of my professional career. She's near the end of it, and I've just signed a new 6-fight contract with Bellator, and I believe one of those fights will be for a world title.
Fair enough.
Interesting. Now, I'm going back quickly to the last edition of the IMMAF World Championships, Mokaev. From a fighter's perspective, you've seen it grow, and what are your thoughts on the overall organization and organizing, or from a fighter's perspective, the last few years? Actually, this is more for yourself and Ryan as well.
I understood question, but I didn't understood what you mean.
From as a fighter, how much have you seen the World Championships improve, especially in the you saw how it was organized in Bahrain last few years? What are the changes? How has it benefited you guys, and from as a fighter?
Since 2018, I started competing. I competed IMMAF World Championships. It was like big, but not as big as the last World Championships. It's like it's getting bigger and bigger every tournament. Like I went to European Championships. It was like good facility, good tournament. Everything organized, like medicals and traveling to the venue. Everything IMMAF organized. It's like a build up for professional career. That's what you do, like a backstage in UFC, probably like Bellator, Brave, like AC, or all those organizations, like from hotel, like medicals. It's similar. You get ready for professional leagues.
Okay, Ryan. I mean, you've gone back even further, and then you've seen it grow exponentially. What are your thoughts about how it benefits fighters, especially amateur MMA fighters?
Ryan, did you hear what he said?
For my first IMMAF tournament, it was Europeans. It was kind of I think it was their first European, so they were kind of all over the place with kind of how it was run and all that. Compared to my last one, the Oceanic, or even my last World, the 2019 World, it's incredible. Like the way they run it now, like, and it's pretty much professional level ran show. Like, you have your pre-fight medicals, your post-fight medicals. You're walking out onto a proper, you're walking out to the 3 or 4 cages, but the 3 or 4 cages ran by loads of completely accredited judges and officials. Like they've been through a whole scheme of they have to like judge and ref this many fights and score this many fights and all that. And then you have just how the fighters are treated compared to like the Europeans. It was kind of again, it was very kind of. They didn't really know what they're doing back then because it was their first time at their first European tournament, so they didn't know how to put fighters in certain areas. Like I remember when I was warming up, it was one huge mat and kind of like there was no kind of designated areas, and you just kind of you're warming up, and it was a bit of a mess compared to the Worlds where you've all our designated areas. You can only warm up. I think it's like 4 or 5 fights you can come up before you can start warming up and stuff, and it's very professional. Like, and it's crazy to see how they have come from that show to now. It's crazy, and IMMAF is the future for any up and coming athlete now.
Right. Before we let you go, Leah, I'll ask this final question, and it's more for women and the girls out there who'd want to get into MMA. Have you seen how IMMAF has grown? What's your advice for girls and who are wanting to get into this path? What's the first thing? I mean, and of course, you're looking at yourself with your daughter Isabella as well. She's seeing you go through this. What's your advice to these girls who have potential and want to get into it?
Yeah, I always say, MMA. I teach ladies as well, and everybody doesn't have to be a fighter, even if they want to train in MMA. Just go and give it a go. Research the best gym locally to you. Anybody that wants to fight, I always say you have to be the hardest worker in the room. No matter what's thrown in your way, overcome it, and you just have a mentality that you're going to achieve what you want to achieve. If you just keep pushing and keep grinding and working and doing everything you can to achieve your goal. Well,
you know what? Thank you very much, because we look forward to seeing you on the screen, and hopefully, I mean, when everything is back to normal, of getting crowds back in the arenas as well. That's something where everyone's probably looking
Yeah.
forward to. Without the crowds there, it's a totally different feeling, isn't it? I mean, Mocha, if you're going to be,
Yeah.
we'll talk to him a bit later. But thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks.
I know you've got to
Bye,
go off
guys.
soon, but thank you and see you and good luck. Yeah.
Thanks.
Right, guys. All right. All guys talk now. In 2 weeks' time, Mokav, it's going to be. Is there going to be a crowd? We're used to seeing, people always in the crowd, just booing or cheering, and now you're going to go do.
No crowd.
Yeah, that's why. So, how do you think it's going to be? How?
Normal crowd, no crowd, don't matter. With me, my team, that's it. It's IMMAF, like sometimes, there's never like a big crowd in IMMAF, for example. It's all like a teams versus teams, and so I don't see like a big difference, crowd or no crowd. It doesn't put like pressure on me.
Right.
Wait, Mukaev, do you think like because you have 23 fights win, do you think because of that you have this mentality now? This like, I'll just fight.
Yes, at the start I was, like first my like fights probably like 5 people came, but like my last fights in UK like are probably like more people coming watch my fights than most professionals on the card I fought. So it's it gets like the more you compete, the more confident you get. You don't need this like, oh, I didn't have like a crowd with me, that's why I lost, or I didn't feel like good, it was weather bad or something like this. No excuses.
Right. Before we carry on, we're gonna get him on. You know how the French are; they're always coming, with style, late but always around. Let's welcome Axel Sola. Hi, Axel. How are you? Bonjour, monsieur.
Good, and you?
Ça va?
Sorry, I was training.
Okay. Oh, you were training. Okay. We'll let you off. How have you been?
Good. Very good. I just finished my studies, so now I can focus 100% on MMA. So it's a big changement for me.
Okay. I see you were still wearing your Green Hill shirt as well.
Yes.
Representing IMMAF. All right.
Right, Daniel, do you want to ask him the questions first?
Oh, yeah, sure. Axel, very quickly, tell us about like how did you find yourself in MMA?
In MMA, okay.
Yeah.
So firstly, I was doing a lot of hockey until 14 years old. So I never did combat sport before. And at this moment, I was watching movie of fighting, and I wanted to know how to do it because I found this cool. And at this moment, my uncle was doing a lot of Muay Thai, so he bring me in MMA gym, and I directly fell in love with the sports. I did it every day, twice a day, and as much as I can with a study beside. So yeah, that's all.
Okay. All right. Again with Axel. Goodness me, you are one of the prime products of IMMAF because your amateur record, literally, IMMAF, all of your amateur MMA fights.
Almost all my fights were in IMMAF. Almost.
Exactly. Wait, but that's the thing. On Tapology, it said all of them were IMMAF on Tapology. So what was that before that?
What I did before IMMAF?
Yeah.
So I did the Thai boxing French national championships. I won it. So 2 years before. The year just before IMMAF, I should make my pro debut in MMA. But I had a lot of trouble in my life. I had some disease. I had personal problems. So always my pro debut was reported. I've been booked 4 times. I had also administration problem, because I was doing Thai boxing in amateur, but it was in the same federation that the Pancras Federation in France. So also one of the reasons why my booked fight didn't work. And then after, for 6 months, I've gone on the boat, like working. So I was like inactive. And just at the end of the season, the first IMMAF championships I did was set. So that's how I've been able to compete in amateur, because a lot of circumstances make me able to do it because I was not supposed to, and that's maybe probably the better things that happened in my career for now. So yeah, I've been lucky.
I remember, Mokaev, you were saying like, Axel, you wanted to like do what Axel did, go around the whole world and compete. Do you remember saying that?
Yeah, I remember. Sorry, what was the question?
No, that was because Mokaev wanted to do the same thing. Were you thinking about doing something like that, Mokaev?
About moving professional early?
No, about doing what Axel was doing, was go to all the IMMAF World Championships around the world. Was that your plan earlier?
Yes, it's right. I've done. I'm in IMMAF. I make a history, 13 fights with 13 win streak, and so that's like I only found out about this recently, and so yeah. So I want to compete it more, but now I have to move on. But many people told me, I have to go professional, like when I was like 7-0. But it's stupid, I now understand it's stupid. Back in the days, I think 2-3-0 you can go professional. That's normal because everybody used to do this. But this time, everybody is smart. It's like if you're smart, you win fights. Not like training like 3-4 hours and then just go professional. And it doesn't work like this anymore.
You see that from what you just said, Mokaev, and now all of you guys here have about 20 fights in your career, right? In your amateur career. And Mokaev, earlier you mentioned about, look at amateur boxing. These guys have 100 fights. Do you think, I want to ask this to Ryan actually. Do you think with what Mokaev said, with, how amateur boxers have all these like 100+ fights, do you think like amateur MMA is moving towards the same direction with the more developments of IMMAF? Do you think amateur fighters for MMA are to have at least 30 to 50 fights? Ryan, what do you think?
Sorry, I can't hear the question at all.
Oh my! Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
It's very kind of like I'm hearing bits and then not bits, and then it's kind of cutting in and out.
Okay, basically, the question is, I'll try to slow it down. Basically, the question is, with higher developments in amateur MMA, especially with IMMAF, do you think most amateur fighters should go through at least 30 to 50 fights before they turn pro?
Oh, 100%, absolutely. I think it's John Kavanagh says that he wants most of his amateur fighters to have at least 20+ fights before they turn pro, just so you experience like maybe a bad ref, something, maybe you get a submission and it doesn't, maybe a ref pulls it because it's illegal, or anything that can happen. Like I've had a fight where my gum shield fell out and I was so focused on the gum shield falling out that I eventually lost the fight because I was focused on getting the gum shield back when I'm out, and then I eventually lost. And I'd like to experience those things in amateur, just so when I go professional and that happens, it doesn't faze me, because you live and die by your record as a professional. Like if you have a shitty record as a pro, shows aren't going to sign you. You're not going to progress your way up. If you have a terrible amateur record, no one really cares about that once you turn pro. It's a factor that helps you get signed by promotions and stuff. Like obviously, if winning a world title and all that helps you get signed. Obviously for myself, like I signed a Bellator based on me winning a world championship and a European championship, and Muhammad winning all of his fights through the IMMAF tournament helped him get signed, and Axel having all those fights helps getting signed by promotions. And going through that, then we learned, what we can and can't do as a fighter. I've had fights where I remember the world championships I won. In my last fight that was semi-finals, but was meant to be, and then I went to go into finals, but your man pulled out. I cracked my shin. It was a leg kick, and I couldn't walk next morning. And I physically had to like kind of wobble my way into past the medical, and then had to think about how I was going to fight with that hurt leg. That same thing could happen as a professional camp. You could go into your second last week of training, hurt yourself, and then have to go into a pro fight with an injury. now since I've done that as an amateur on a day's notice, I can 100% do that with a few weeks. You know, like I can adapt now, and I think going through and fighting, you know, the best of the best fighters, and you know, fighting the top lads from Russia, you know, fighting top lads from Kazakhstan, all these countries who are putting so much money into the MMA is incredible. Like, because I could go a whole pro career and never fight a guy of that caliber again. You know, even if you look at the UFC, you know, there's not many of those high level wrestlers. You know, I know they're all starting to get signed now, like, but you know, you can fight a guy who just has a million wrestling matches and will never look a good turn pro. You know, all he wants to do is just win an amateur world title. I think having that at an IMMAF tournament is just incredible, and every amateur should try it.
Right, Axel, you went, you know, all over the place in 2019. Why did you do that?
I think you went all over places while
Yeah.
we're streaming live.
Yeah, it's like you were like a journeyman amateur IMMAF fighter in 2019. You went all over the world. Why did you do that?
Oh, sorry, because I heard very poorly because I got a connection problem. But why did I do that? Because I had the opportunity to do it, and it's the best way to get experience and to become a better fighter is to fight a lot of different styles of people coming from different countries and experience. More fights you will do in amateur, better you will be when you turn pro. So I had the opportunity to do it, so I did it without hesitation.
Well, because of that, you were, you know, the best athlete of 2019. It's quite a bittersweet experience, as you mentioned, right? Being the best athlete in 2019, IMMAF best athlete in 2019 as well. So it was quite a bittersweet experience.
I don't know what this reward means. It just means I've been fighting a lot and I've been very active. The real reward is all the experience I had from all these fights, and yeah. So
I remember, Axel. I remember when you were telling me when we were at Bahrain. You were telling me about your experience when you were flying around. What was the biggest challenge again when you had to like fight month after month at 3 different locations in the world?
Overtraining. I don't know how, I cannot explain it, but because of the travel and the competition were very close. It meant like it was an open championships every 2 weeks. So I didn't have very much time to adapt to the jet lag and shit, because every time I had to come back in Nice because of study. And put me in overtraining, and I keep injuring during all the tournaments. So if the tournaments were more spaced between the state of fights, I think I would do more better results. So yeah, it was very managing the shape state with all the flights and different food and training, and so yeah.
Now, you had a very cryptic message. Right. You had a very cryptic message. You said great things are coming. Does that mean that you're turning pro?
If I am turning pro, definitely in 2021 I will turn pro. I'm just waiting for now how it will turn for IMMAF. Maybe I will do 1 or 2 last competition if it's pretty close. But definitely I need to turn pro because I'm almost 23 now, so time is running. So yeah, I'm thinking about turning pro. I got many possibilities for the federation, but I'm not sure I want to sign a multi-fight contract, because after that you play stock. So maybe only go for 1 fight contract with different organization. So we'll see. We need to think about it. For now, it's training time. We just wait to see how the things is going on with all the sanitary crisis. And yeah, turning pro pretty soon, definitely.
All right,
Okay.
that's good to hear. Now, okay, with a chewing gum. Now, you know, for you, is it better for one? I mean, Ryan's gone for a 4-fight contract. Okay, for you, what's better, having a multi-fight contract or a single fight contract? What do you think the benefits and disadvantages of that?
Is that for me question?
Yes,
Yep.
for you. Yep.
Okay, I think a single fight or like a 3-4 fight deal contract, like maximum, and then you'll see after, because your price is going up, and you should change your contract. If you're winning, you need bigger like bigger figure contract. They need to promote you, and they need to put you on main event and stuff like this, I believe. But there's and you fight for the title, and then you go to another organization.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you don't want to get like a stuck. Most like Bellator, I think Bellator guys get stuck like big time.
Oh, really? We'll have to ask
Yeah.
Ryan that a bit later. Now, Ryan, you went
Ryan.
for a 4-fight
Ryan,
contract.
Ryan, Uncle Dana not gonna like you, you know.
Oh, Ryan can't hear you, but Ryan, Mukaev said Uncle Dana's not gonna like you because you signed to Bellator.
Plenty people have gone from Bellator to the UFC. You know,
Yeah,
yeah, no, he won't like me at all. He'd like me when I'm a champion and all that, and then he wants me.
maybe.
What are your thoughts? Going for this 4-fight contract and not a single contract or what Axel was saying.
I know with Bellator, I'm pretty sure that a 4-fight offers more money than a 1. But and at the end of the day, money's not everything. But I know for a fact that I might 4 fights at Bellator, and hopefully I get signed for another 4 fights after that. It's just the security of knowing that I'll have 4 guaranteed fights to them, and I know at Bellator I can get those 4 fights done a year, no bother. And I know they do 3 shows in England. They always do 2 shows in Ireland, and if I can put somewhere in America, it'd be class as well. But I'm happy to have signed with an organization so big for my first. I'm fighting with, I would say, one of the second biggest organization in the world for my first ever pro fight, which is absolutely incredible. And I know I'm stuck with it now for the 4 fights, so I'm very happy with that. And the money.
I
as well,
know.
is good.
It's a great opportunity for you guys anyway. I mean, it's really great to see like a lot of you guys, the IMMAF guys, going onto really big things and big championships now. I know Axel.
French guy crazy.
Yeah, I know. He's always doing. Axel, quick question.
I think he's
just resting.
fishing, you
He's
know.
just tired. Axel, now quick question for
Excuse
you.
me, guys.
No worries. I know you're resting. I know you're resting after training. But what are your thoughts of what's happening with MMA in France at the moment?
Okay. So at the moment, they try to figure out how they will make the rules, how they will make the championships, how it will be organized. So it's the boxing federation who took it. So I think they will organize like in boxing with the amateur part and professional part. But for now, they're just thinking. They try to write a code. So they're not very much in the communication. So I think same in 2021, it will start to look like organized. Guys, I don't have battery anymore. I have a terrible connection.
Okay.
10 minutes.
No worries.
Time to go.
We're finishing soon. So this is the last bit, guys. Last final.
Okay.
Final advice to those up and coming guys, the athletes who are just getting to IMMAF now with their respective countries. A lot of them, we've seen in especially in Southeast Asia and Asia, they after 3-4 fights they go into become professional. We've got a lot of boys who are in one championship and who are from IMMAF, and after 3-4 fights they went straight into as a pro. What's your advice, Mohammed?
His head already.
Big problem. Like 1FC, most guys are very good strikers, but it's not striking for MMA. They're like a Thai boxers, and for example, like groundwork. Most 1FC guys don't know like a groundwork, because I always like 3 times I went to Tiger Muay Thai last year, and I sparred with a couple of 1FC guys, and I think like some 1FC professional fighters like one in like seniors, I mean like grown up men, won't even survive like a junior tournament. And I'm saying this, so it's too early to make these decisions, to go professional. For younger generations, like under 16 to 18, isn't it? Or 16 to 18, they have a cadets. That's like a big opportunity. If I started at that age doing the IMMAF tournaments, I'll probably be like 15 or now, you know. But I think it's a great opportunity for younger generation to start with like cadets, and when they come to juniors, they're already gonna have, you know, they're gonna feel like a home in these cages,
Yeah.
and make like a history, probably like youngest champions, I believe. But for going professional with 3 amateur fights, very stupid. Even like with some of them, like with 10 amateur fights, even stupid.
Okay. Before we go to Ryan, I wonder if Axel is around. He's just
Is he still there, or has
just-
he? Or is
yeah.
his battery done?
His battery. Yeah, his battery's gone. Okay, battery's gone.
Before we get to the advice bit, I actually wanted to ask you guys. I asked this question to Leah because Leah is gonna. That might happen for her soon to fight someone like Chris Cyborg. But let's look at like the best person in your division, and I want to ask you: do you think you have the skills right now to go head to head with the person in the best division, right? To go head to head with the best fighter in your division. Ryan in Bellator, the heavyweight champion is Ryan Bader, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so Ryan Bader is current light heavyweight and heavyweight champion. So every day in the gym, my coach says that I should be training to fight him. So we're always like saying, like, you know, when I'm sparring, I'm not sparring an opponent, I'm sparring Ryan Bader. That's the person I'm aiming towards all the time. To fight him now, I'd 100% go in there and give him a shot. You know, it's at heavyweight, especially, it's one shot. Like, I could land that one shot or it get taken down. You know, I'd fully go in there and I'll give it all 100%. As being an MMA fighter and having confidence through the roof, I'd always vote myself to win that fight. But you know, it's MMA. Anything can happen. I'd fight him if you were telling me I'd fight him next week. I'd fight him next week. No bother. I wouldn't care. I just want to fight anyone and anywhere. Doesn't matter.
Fair enough.
All right. Axel, what's your advice for younger MMA athletes? Okay, that's motivate you. I love you. What's your advice to younger MMA athletes? For those who wanting to
do
get
a lot
into
of
this.
wrestling. Do a lot of wrestling. Wrestling is very dominant in MMA, especially in amateur MMA. So do as much competition in wrestling as you can. In no gi grappling, because if you are to attack, and for this you need to be very good on your back, because controlling someone when you're on top don't need as much technique than controlling someone when you're on your back. So a lot of grappling, because MMA is mostly a grappling, and later with the time, because if you take too many shots in the head when you're young, it can make damage. So around, I would say 14, you can start to do boxing. I would say I did Thai boxing first, but I would say boxing is better because you got better distance management than Thai boxing, which is too stiff. So then boxing coming last, and but mostly grappling and wrestling, very, very important.
Grappling,
competition also in MMA, but so in so different areas of sports. Okay.
Right.
That's,
Thank you.
My best advice, I would say, for younger fighters.
Thank you, Ryan. Your final thoughts on that?
I'd probably echo in what Mohammed said as well, but there's no rush at all. Like, you should get as many amateur fights as you possibly can before you turn pro. You should be 100% sure of how you fight, how you like to win, how you like to do a certain thing before you even think about turning pro. Like, there's no rush at all. You shouldn't like get, you know, a seven fights win streak. You know, you're delighted you fought loads of bums here or in your local scene, and then you say, oh yeah, I'm ready for the pro, and then you fight one high level guy straight away, and then you're a nobody. You know, take your time, get as many amateur fights as possible, fight the best guys. You know, there's countries like Sweden, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Russia, all who have like complete funded, like you know, funded. The MMA is a funded sport out there, and like have an abundance of, you know, coaches, you know, training staff and all that. You should be fighting those guys, and you should be aiming towards beating those guys. And if you win your world championship or your European championship, then start thinking about turning pro. But then, like, you can always have a second world title, the third world title. You know, there's no rush, and it shouldn't be a thing like that. Like, you get a few wins, then you turn pro, and then that's it. Like, there shouldn't be no rush to turn pro. It should be the same as, like I said before, like boxing. It should be rack up all your experience and then turn pro. It's like you should treat it like a job. So you wouldn't jump into a promotion in a job that you're not ready for. You know, you work your way up there, and then you slowly get there. The same in the sport. You know, you have to slowly work your way up there, learn your trade, and then show your trade in the pro game.
All right. Well, thank you very much, gents. It's been quite insightful, educational, especially. Just hope the younger generation do follow those footsteps. But it's been a really, really great show. Thank you very much. Good luck to you, Mokaev, in 2 weeks' time. Ryan, I don't know when you're going to be fighting, but we'll be watching. And looking forward to seeing Axel probably this year. If there is another championship, if it does carry on at the end of the year, if Bahrain does it's a special championship. I'm supposed to say that. I can't remember. Never mind, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
wait, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Mokaev, where can we watch your fight?
Yeah. I think it'd be on the Brave pay-per-view.
Okay.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
I'll ask MQ. Okay, guys, thank you very much. It's been really great. Axel, hope you don't run out of batteries. Ryan, it was really nice to see you. And Mokaev, wishing you all the best for your pro.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay,
thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you. And see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Well,
we already had some gathering. Apparently, it's very bad because like people flash and coming out the hell out of me, eating at my soul.